tell you for the records. Anambra State has the lowest unemployment of any state in Nigeria at 13%. National Bureau of Statistics, not Anambra State numbers. Anambra State has poverty rate declined from 53% under Peter Obi to 14.78 as at last year. National Bureau of Statistics, not our own numbers. Anambra State has the lowest underemployment rate at 17% of any state in Nigeria. National Bureau of Statistics. So when you want to say, and then...
I know Anambra very well. And so, when I met the governor who had just finished his tenure, I asked him, I said, my dear brother, I had been longing to thank you immensely. You did something remarkably well. God bless you. He said, my brother, what is that? I said, the international airport you built in Oka. I said, I am exceedingly happy. He said, oh my God, I'm happy hearing it from you. Then I added, I said, where did you get the money? He said, Biko, now my former colleague left the money behind. I laughed at it. I said, he left it. He said, frankly speaking, he left money in foreign currency. It's the money I saw. I said, look, let me leave a legacy before we go. So, I'm not promising. I won't leave money. I'm owing them here. And I'll use the money well.
Soludo, the governor of Anambra State of Nigeria, in his epistle to Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party of Nigeria, started his epistle by saying, history beckons and I cannot keep quiet. That made us think what history meant. Then we decided that if you are living in a glass house, you don't throw stones. Who is Charles Soludo, and what does history have to say about him, and what Professor Akunyili said about him? Now, remember that some people will say that too much education is dangerous. In as much as I do not totally agree with those people, I don't also totally disagree with them. Because Esiaba Irobi, a popular playwright who wrote Nwokede, said in his play that a man is what he hides. Put it this way, the true character of a man is known, not what he does publicly, but what he does privately when nobody is watching him. Do you remember Professor Dora Akunyili, the first Director General of ANAMBRA, the drug fighting agency in Nigeria? An Amazon who died in her struggle for a better Nigeria. I know most of you will ask, what does she have to do with Soludo? Dora Akunyili says something revealing about Professor Charles Soludo and the character of a man. Just like Akunyili said, trust mothers. If you don't have any value for your mother, you better do. Sometimes they can tell you things you never knew, or tell you things you don't wish to hear about your past or about your origin. This is why what Professor Akunyili said about Charles Soludo is not only exposing, but is also in accordance or concordance with what Professor Dora Akunyili said about Professor Charles Soludo. Now, what is the relationship between these two? Professor Akunyili's sister gave her daughter Nonye to Charles Soludo in marriage. So they are in-laws according to African tradition. Charles Soludo contested to be the governor of Anambra State in 2010 under People's Democratic Party, but lost the election. It was the time that Dora Akunyili was working with PDP at the national level. Because if you remember the doctrine of necessity that brought Goodluck Jonathan to power, Dora Akunyili, Amazon of our time, was behind that doctrine of necessity, if I remember. Now, what does it have to do with all of this? Let's tie it together. When Soludo lost that election, Dora Akunyili said that all hell was let loose. Soludo felt that Dora Akunyili was single-handedly supposed to make him the governor of Anambra State. But since she couldn't, it was time for revenge. And listen to what I'll read out to you that Professor Akunyili said. All efforts to dissuade Soludo's mind failed, adding he ought to realize that I alone cannot make him the governor of Anambra State. So he brought that anger, grudge, frustration to the burial of his late mother-in-law, who is also my elder sister. What did Charles Soludo do? After Dora Akunyili tried to let him know that it was not her sole effort that could have made him the governor of Anambra State, he refused to listen. And according to the late Amazon, he sent his thoughts numbered in thousands to where the burial of Dora Akunyili's sister, Soludo's mother-in-law, was being held in Isofia, his hometown. Disrupted the burial, and not only did he disrupt it, but the talks were sending text messages blackmailing the guests that came on behalf of Dora Akunyili. Revenge, revenge, revenge. Now, fast forward it later, when Soludo failed to win that election too, he started unleashing his attacks on the then president, Goodluck Jonathan, talking about how his economic policies failed. And that was when Okonjo-Iweala came on board and said this, what I already told you on the last video. But the summary of what Okonjo-Iweala said was this: Soludo was driven by bitterness, desperate search for relevance. And she concluded her write-up by saying, so much of what he wrote is outright nonsense, self-serving, self-seeking aggrandizement that need not to be responded, because it will be to dignify whatever he wrote. Now, you remember Fani Kayode, who was also the spokesman for Jonathan's campaign? He responded. He is also a friend to Charles Soludo, the governor of Anambra State. And look at what he said. I read. Soludo is confused and a conflicted man. He seems to have lost touch with reality. And this is what often happens when you spend too much time with Buharists. Then he was in PDP. I was talking about spending so much time with Buhari movement. So he felt that Charles Soludo was dining and whining with the APC and has lost touch with reality. I pray that sooner than later he comes to his senses and sees the light of the day. Wow. So in summary, you can see that Soludo's character here is in question. And that is why I quoted what Esiabai Robi said in his book, Moked, that a man is what he hides. So having heard all of this, let me know what you think in the comment section. Do we move on from Soludo? Because Okonjo-Iweala said that to reply to him will be to dignify whatever he wrote. Because he said episode 1, we are expecting episode 2. So I urge everybody, get to the comment section, tell me what you think. To me, I believe that when you pass through a university, it says if you get a certificate, 2 things: found worthy in learning and character. You could be found worthy in learning, but character molded over time both home and school is not a guarantee of how you will behave outside. A man is what he hides. This is Chris Digos in Open Whispers. Kindly remember to subscribe, hit the like button, share the video, and leave your comment in the comment section below at the bottom right corner of the video, and let me know how you feel. See something, say something, and do something. Be well, do good work, and please do keep in touch. Thank you.